Hello, Star Wars unboxing fans. Welcome to I guess it's a walk around tour instead of an unboxing show today. This is Darth Tuba's Star Wars unboxing show, but today we're not going to be unboxing anything other than a current state of the collection. This is, as of the recording of this, I would say we are 3 days past the end of my annual Star Wars sale. And you are not seeing this until sometime, well, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or more later. The reason for that is because we have been traveling. We do our trip annual Disney pilgrimage, if you will, Galaxy's Edge pilgrimage in the summer. This is probably the last year we're going for an extended period that we have been going. We used to go the last 5 years almost. We went down for nearly the entire month of July, including this one. But the reason for that mainly was because our daughter worked down there, and therefore we wanted to spend as much time with her as we could. And seeing that I was off as a teacher in the summer and my wife was retired, it made sense for us to just go in July. So that is what we did. And that's what we did this year, except that our daughter moved back. Now she's vacationing with us for a little bit of time, like 8 or 9 days, and then she's heading up ahead of us back here to house sit and to go back to her regular job. So, but I wanted to put this video together because I just wanted to kind of walk through the collection and kind of show you my current state of collecting as it is. Because I can't tell you how many people during the Star Wars sale came up to me and like, "Wow, you getting rid of your whole collection? Are you, just retiring? Are you doing this? Are you doing that?" I'm like, no, I'm still collecting. I haven't stopped collecting. There's still boxes coming in from Entertainment Earth. I will be bringing back items from Galaxy's Edge. There are some high-end, I'm trying to fill the gaps of my vintage, meaning my 70s and 80s vintage collection via eBay and auctions and other things. But I will say that, you might look at this and go, "Wow, this is crazy, so much." But everybody's collection is subjective. There are people who have whole houses completely decked out every inch Star Wars. I have restricted everything to my basement, and this is just the corner right here behind me, the door exiting, and there's my original figure collection from when I was a kid. So let's take a walk around, all right, and kind of just see what happened. Because I will say that when we had the sale, I had to jump in here and grab some items because each day a lot of stuff sold. And it sold, and then the sale looked kind of empty to me. So I got to fill it up with some stuff. So I found a few other items, and we'll go from there. And then each day the same thing happened. And it turned out that by the end of the sale, I had done some serious clean out. And I could tell because half of my, well, not half, I'd say a third of my shelves in the garage are no longer have anything on them. Where I had all this stuff kind of stacked in the back of the garage, it's completely empty. Just the boxes are stacked there because I do intend to find more items to put out for the sale, because I do intend to continue this as a yearly thing. It's become kind of a tradition. It's become something that people are known for. I saw a lot of repeat guests, if you will, a lot of repeat customers that came by, and some of them even came by multiple times. And a lot of people knew. They saw the signs, and boom, there they are. So let's take a look at what we have. First off, just turning around the camera around the other way, we have our big teak and little teak that are just guarding the collection in general. Little teak, there was somebody who had an interest in him, so we'll see. There have been a few post-sale deals going on. There may be more before, even as this recording is going out, so we'll kind of wait and see. But one of the things I started to do was kind of do a little bit more organizing with the door here. This used to be a poster. There used to be a Return of the Jedi poster. I decided I wanted to see some more of my carded figures. Not anything in particular, a couple of exclusive items, but mainly just kind of a sampling of all the different types. And these have all been sitting in that room back there, kind of tucked in the rafters. I want to get some of these out here. And maybe I'll rotate them out. Who knows? We got our vintage collection, our retro collection rather. and some loose figures. And one of the things, like if you watch my channel, come around this way. Some things don't look any different. These shelves are all pretty much have exactly the same items that they had on them before the sale. I did move a lot of my Black Series stuff over to there, and you can see, if you look at my Black Series, it's getting thin. I put a lot of items out in the sale. I'm going to put a lot more items out in the sale. I invited some people in to, they were actually purchasing a lot of my loose regular figures. My 3 3/4 inch. We had a gentleman who was here very interested in my Clone Wars figures. So he bought quite a few, then came back and bought a few more, and he might come back again next month and buy a few more. So I've consolidated all my figures to this wall, basically, and that, over there, hanging over the top. Those are all my loose figures here. They used to be over this rafter here, but I decided I wanted to put the Macquarie concept figures there just because I like them. I like to see them. Another thing that's different is that this is all that remains of my Gentle Giant Jumbo figures, these 2 rows right here. This box and the box next to it are items that, along with these vehicles, some of which, though these are definitely sold. See, these may be sold. These were just bigger boxes. I didn't feel like bringing them and leaving them in the garage for the year, so I'm gonna even just leave them here until next year. But maybe I'll stack them differently. And I decided to have some fun with my display case. And on the top half, I have put, sorry for the glare, but I put a lot of micro collection from Empire Strikes Back: Return of the Jedi, and some of my smaller creatures with boxes, kind of displaying everything. I kind of like that. There's Max Rebo's band in the back there, you can see. And of course, the Jawa, this is the Sears Jawa Sandcrawler. That's working, by the way, at least as of last time I tried it. One of Jabba's dungeons and TIE Fighter. I still have 2 more spaces here. The problem is I don't really have a home for these figures, and I do not want to take them out. This has been really good at repelling dust, so I don't want to take them out yet. So we're just going to kind of hold things. Oh, that sound you heard, if you heard it, was unfortunately some of my figures falling because they don't like to stay up. I rigged up the system. Well, in this case, see, it's basically using these kind of rafters things. I'm going to use a piece. I'll take that down. That should help. Generally speaking, they do pretty well. I mean, you can see in other cases, I just use command ships are a wonderful invention. They are a little pricey, but they generally stay up pretty well. Okay, moving around the space here. This space hasn't really changed much. We have, but you can see most of the higher end figures. You can pretty much fit 4 in each shelf. So now seeing is how that one only has 3, but this guy over here, Vader's loose. Although Vader may not fit, it might be too tall. I have to look. And then we got Boba Fett down there, Grievous. Then we got Obi-Wan, and then I forget where the table comes from. So I forget which figure that is. We got my Sigma collection and buildable figures, my 1 Lego. You can see I started trying to find boxes for these figures. Either find them original, like that Vader one. I don't mind if they're damaged, but I have found some places that have been making them too. Reproductions. I don't really care. They clearly are reproductions, so it's not a big deal. My normal studio, the only thing I got to work on is I took out some small boxes to put in that display in the other room, and now I have some rafters that are a little bit, shall we say, exposed. So I have to slide some stuff down. I'm trying to figure out, like, the biggest thing I'm trying to get away from is what to do with the figures up here. I don't like putting them on the rafters. I do it only because there's really no other place to put them. So, I'm trying to come up with a couple of different ideas. But you can see here, a lot of them have gone away because I put them up in the other room. So that exposes a little bit of holes here, but that's okay. Everything looks in pretty decent order. I will say that This is where this display is where I keep most of my, you can see it's all the vintage stuff. Full disclosure, that is not a real Bespin playset. That is a reproduction. I don't have that one, nor do I have the Cantina one. So, put this light on, see better. I had all my, this is where a lot of my comic packs were. I only have a handful left. This is from a recent unboxing. Got my Ewok area right over here. Battle of Endor, I'm thinking about parting with. But the thing is that sometimes I part with, I have noticed at the sale when I try to put, you can see we have a lot of open areas here, open spaces. A lot of them are there that way because, I brought stuff out of there to put in the sale. This is where I fully intend, I even started putting Cantina aliens here because I fully intend to set up the Cantina playset right here in this space. I can move these things up and down, move some stuff around. So I had a few vehicles here that are gone, so now I can maybe move a few things around. And maybe, just try to adjust a little bit, see what we can do. This is where my micro stuff was, so I moved a few things in here. My micro collections here, I moved the things up. I also kind of get a few things off the floor. I mean, I should use the space bottom floor, and I will, but I want to use less valuable stuff. Just because, we do tend to get flooding. Here's my other display case with the other play sets, and that's looking better because I took a lot of the little guys out. What I'm now trying to do is find boxes. If I can get toys, or even just the boxes, I don't even mind if I get a replacement toy with the box for these mini rigs. I just did a purchase of I did some auctions on the Star Wars Daddy's eBay channel and YouTube channel. And he's awesome, by the way. He and I have been communicating back and forth, and I will continue to talk about him and his channel and give him a shout out whenever I can, because I really feel like he and I are cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways. A love for Star Wars. He collects other things as well. I have restricted it solely to Star Wars, but nonetheless, we both have a love of it, and I'm interested in doing kind of what he does, like buying up large collections, and then maybe he sells them off on eBay. I might want to just start collecting them to sell them at my sale, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of opening here. Part of the reason for that, though, is that there's some moisture. You can see kind of the weird coloration there. There's some moisture on that cement wall. So what I've been thinking, though, is this piece is, these display pieces, these diorama-like pieces, I think might work really well. So I'm going to maybe get it as that old one from that Hasbro put out a few years ago. So maybe the Tantive 4, maybe the Mandalorian thing, I might move some of them in later in the summer. And then, of course, the awesome sail barge. And, so a lot of it's still looking good, looking pretty clean, looking organized, or at least, this is somewhat of a, this is where I put all my party supplies and fun craft things. I made a little table for that. I just realized I have this one shelf that's very, very thin. So I have to do things like, I don't know if this will fit. Yeah, this fits. Okay, there we go. So we have this is one of the Hasbro new ones. Unfortunately, the things up top, Grievous's ship, the things up top tend to block it, so I have to be a little bit, more creative. Yeah, so sorry if I sound tired. It's just been a very exhausting, at the time of this recording. Don't get me wrong, I love doing the sale. The art sale is so much fun, and really just meeting new people, and this is my Cricut, where all those awesome Star Wars sale signs came from. Yeah, so it's looking really, really, really nice. But here's another area that had a lot more on there. I took a bunch of battle packs off of there and moved these to the front. So, there's a bit of a hodgepodge there, but I like it, and I do intend to, some stuff I'll keep around for a while. Here's my Galaxy's Edge area. This is my Halcyon. These guys are probably next to go next year. The 18-inch Jakks Pacific figures. Yeah, I think if I put this one and I can't remember where the other one was, but this one and the other one, and put those two kind of play sets up there. I think that'll be kind of cool. I might part with the Think Away toys. I'm not sure. They're kind of cool, but I don't really activate them as much as I thought I would. So, yeah, I like what I did with the wall here. I just got some of the more exposed, some of the more carded figures out here. It's also where I placed the retro figures. So, cool. So, in terms of, the success of the sale, I would say, my wife had asked me, and I agree with her, not to dictate specific prices. Mainly because number one, I think it's my business, and number two is that's not. Although I was just promoting and talking about the Star Wars Daddy channel, he's very much into, displaying what he paid for things, what he charged for stuff, how much profit he made, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel that since he does everything mail order, whereas my stuff is all in my house, and my house has an address, and my address is, a lot of people know where it is because I do the sale every year. So I prefer not to list, specific dollar amounts for that reason, just for safety. Although there's no more money in the house, I put stuff in the bank, or stuff is done by Venmo. It's amazing how many more people do Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, which is great because it's amazing how a person would walk around and be like, oh, you have such great stuff, but I only have a little bit of cash. Do you take Zelle or do you take Venmo? I said, yeah. Oh, great. Bring on the pile. They start piling stuff up this high. But as I said in my other videos about the sale, I didn't have huge profits from what I purchased those items for. Some I did, but most of them were just part of my collection. And I just took them and I had them in the collection. And then I had them for whatever, 1 year to 5 years to 10 years to 20 years. And then I said, okay, I think I'm ready to part with this now. And then I part with it and I get a little money back. Although some things for the really old figures, even the figures that I sold, that there were figures from, Power of the Force 2 that I think I only paid $4.99, maybe $5 for, and I sold for $5. So I didn't lose any money on those at all. But the newer figures, some of them I sold and only made $5, and I might have paid 10 or even 15. That's okay. That's not what this is about. And this is just about me thinning out the collection. I have a little bit of extra money in hand that I can use for what, by the time you're viewing this, we're eating our dinners and breakfasts and lunches at Disney World, and it's basically being completely funded by the Star Wars sale, which is great. I'm also going to be building a lightsaber, which we'll be filming, and there'll be an episode on that shortly. Perhaps I want to build that Tread R2 unit or Tread droid in the droid builder, and maybe we'll see what else is over there. So, and in the meantime, I've been doing other auctions. I'm trying to pick up some rare items, some items that are a little bit more. Again, I'm trying to piecemeal my collection. I have a lot of that vintage collection from the 70s and 80s. I'm just trying to get some boxes. I'm not into inserts or anything like that, but boxes and maybe instructions are things that I'm looking to fill in the old collection. And as I said, I have a nice little glass casing here. I wish I could get another one. I've been eyeing some of these glass cases. They're so expensive, so I don't know if I want to go. I've never spent a dime, really, comparatively, on my displays. I mean, everything I've done with displays has always been on the cheap, which I know. It looks that way. I know that way. I know that. But I just never wanted to budget the amount of money I spend on collecting. I don't want to budget that same amount to do the displays. So I've been just kind of doing it as best as I can. But okay, so what to look forward to in the next couple of weeks? Well, this is my summer, so my summer I have a little more time to do some things. There are some just standard items coming in the mail that I ordered. There's a big heritage auction coming up at the end of this month. This is the month of July, and I'm looking forward to trying to win a few of those items if I can. I've been taking part in Star Wars Daddy auctions every week and trying to pick up. That's fun. That's almost like an Olympic sport. Check out Star Wars Daddy. Check out the YouTube channel, but you can also check him out on eBay. I don't know if he does it all the time, but he's been doing weekly auctions that end on Sunday evenings, Eastern Standard Time. So somewhere around 6, 7 o'clock p.m. That's when they end. But if people get really into it, it's like boom, 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 and the bids go up crazy after that. So, All right. So, but we obviously being in Florida, being in Galaxy's Edge, we'll get a couple of Galaxy's Edge videos out. And I don't know, they may even come before this. Probably not. This will probably come first before those other ones do. And then from there, we will see what else is next. I mean, we can't believe it. It's going to be, we're going to get slowly being approaching the Halloween season and the holiday season. We'll see what happens. But I have plenty of stuff coming in the mail, things that are pre-ordered that are coming in, mostly Entertainment Earth stuff, some Hasbro stuff. The HasLab Cantina will get here eventually, and before you know it, we'll be prepping for the next sale. That's going to happen in a year's time. So, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you. Sorry for not unboxing anything, but did want to show you the current collection, the state of it. It's still got some bumps and bruises that I got to fix and clean, but it's a labor of love. I love doing it. So, thanks so much for watching. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, do all that stuff. Check me out on Instagram and Bluesky. No longer on Twitter. And make sure that you check the Darth Tuba Star Wars unboxing page, or just Darth Tuba's unboxing page. That's the one I'm active on now. Until next time, folks, may the Force and the toys be with you. Bye, Teeks.